crazy!
Welcome back, everyone. This is Overwatchers. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and sitting here with me is Chris, aka Chanman. How you doing, Chris?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Missed you guys. Had a 2-week vacation, or almost a 2-week vacation, so been itching to get back on and talk about Overwatch.
Awesome, man. Well, it's vacation season, apparently, because Patrick is not joining us today. He is on his vacation, but that is okay. We have Rachel, aka Seltzer, please, joining us for the second time on the show. Welcome back, Rachel.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. It's a little early. You guys are kind of East Coasting it. I'm West Coasting it, but we're making it work.
She's a trooper, man. She is such a trooper.
I forgot you were West Coast because, mostly because you agreed to do this, and I was just like, oh, I guess she's not. I guess she's not West Coast.
Foresight you exhibited. I never could have thought you'd.
Yeah, I just heard Chris was like, "Hey, man, I got Rachel coming on since we don't have Patrick." I'm like, "Cool, awesome, normal time, yeah, normal time. All right, well, let's do this,
Chris. Thanks, bro. Consider
We were playing Overwatch together late last night too. So
that's hilarious.
That's
I know you could have been like, you know what?
Us.
It's late. We're fragging late. Why don't you sleep in, Rachel? Push back.
Dude, we had such a good 6-man going, so it's just like, no, man, I'll give up some sleep to do some of
that. That is true, Garrett. We were crushing last
We
night. I was
were
so worried
crushing.
because I was like, a 6-man team. We're gonna go up against some tough people. Nothing we couldn't handle.
Where was my invite, man? I was just on.
You were sleeping. I'm sure
well,
you were
how late
sleeping.
was it? Like, were we talking like 4 a.m. or because I was on pretty late trying out Demon Hunter and WoW. I could have very easily been pulled away from that.
Oh, I didn't see you. It was like 2 or 3 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was probably in Sleepville, but
yeah.
Well, shame on you, Chris, for not trying to instill.
Just for this moment, I've been waiting for an opportunity to use this app that I got fast.
What? Shane? Oh my god.
Oh, the
What
day
is
finally
that?
came.
Oh my god! Wow, like
That's
that.
awesome.
That's multi-level, like, old reference. A, that's not even the most recent season of Game of Thrones, and B, that is such an obscure app. I assume that would have been a joke, like with a first or second generation iPhone.
That's like a GG button, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that level there. That's cool though. That's definitely really cool.
Oh, that's.
Still want a GG button one day.
Yeah.
I never got one either. I distinctly remember at one point in the Wings of Liberty days going to order one, and they were out of stock, and I was like, well, I'll probably never remember to come back and check again. And sure enough, I didn't. So no GG button for me. But we are here to talk Overwatch. There has been a bit going on since we last got together. As our listeners are probably by now aware, we do an episode every 2 weeks. And so for those listeners who are unaware, that's what's going on. We didn't miss an episode. We do it every other week. But the summer games are here, guys. And I'm not talking about the Olympics, which... I'm not watching, but
I'm watching.
I'm so Chris. Rachel will have to fill you in. The last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, I declared randomly. I forget how the discussion came up. I think we were talking about adding more skins to the game and whatnot. I declared my open disdain for real sports skins in my fantasy video games. That it's one of my least favorite things in games. I don't like it. It takes me out of the fantasy and it bothers me. And literally a week later, the Summer Games drops in Overwatch, and my Twitter feed starts filling up with a bunch of really, smug wiseacres. So
Wait, I have to ask the question to understand the rest of the context. What other games have offended you so by adding
every
is there
MOBA
like a Skyrim
ever.
mod that I missed? Or?
No, every MOBA ever. They get these, it's like a soccer skin or a baseball skin, and I'm just like, where's my lame horn? Because I want to blow it as loud as possible.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So somehow we got on that tirade, and now it's this joke that like, oh man, Garrett says something, he hates something, and bam, it hits the game. So,
Well, at least it's only 5 of the characters.
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
like,
and-
all 21 of the characters.
Well, that's
or whatnot.
that's kind of what I was leading up to. Is everyone's like, "Oh man, Garrett, how mad are you?" And actually, I'm pretty happy that Lucio Ball brawl is super fun. I've been having a
I love
blast
Rocket
with
League
it.
too.
Yeah, I love Rocket League
Yep,
too.
yep,
Yeah,
me-
yeah. I went on this. What was I? I was guessing on the instance, and I went on this similar tirade, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're ripping off Rocket League," and I'm like, "Guys, Rocket League's just ripping off soccer. Calm down. We can have soccer in more than one game."
Exactly. Exactly.
But it does look exactly like Rocket League. I mean, the whole arena and everything. So I get that I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, it's soccer. It's not like it's going to be a permanent feature in the game. But are you guys enjoying it?
Rach?
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's like a really the Rocket League like championships were this past weekend, and that is like it's so fast and it's so hype, and you get in the Lucio Ball and you're like, I'm coming for it. Like it just kind of doesn't have that like Rockstar whipping around feel. So
Yeah.
Psionics, I understand Rockstar didn't make it, but it makes me feel like a Rockstar. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I think I'm along the same lines too. It's like it looks beautiful, and the fact that they can make it look like Rocket League is already amazing from the standpoint of their toolkit, right? Just their overall engine and platform and everything. So as a concept, which Jeff introduced it as a concept of trying to do something different that's not within the Overwatch design right now. I think it's a success, but as a game, as Rocket League, it's just not fast enough. I feel like it's missing like one ability. Like I don't know if you could maybe if you could shoot the ball too, or if you could just like you said, like move a little bit faster. But a lot of the times I feel like I'm just kind of like skating really slowly after I've used my boost to get to the ball, and it's like I just want to kick that ball like really hard or hit it really really hard so I can shoot it. But
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. But
Yeah, it's missing those map objectives for when you're not chasing the ball. At least Rocket League has you going after the power up.
that's true.
So,
That's true. Yeah. But the actual movement is better than Rocket League because you can move backwards and lateral a lot better, or obviously just lateral period versus Rocket League. So the movement actually does feel good. I think they could actually have like 5v5, or I mean they could have had maybe an extra person in there too, or four or 5 people, and it might have been okay to play.
I agree as well, because like I'm with you. Like since there's no real boost, and if you actually get a good hit on the ball, it takes forever to get there. That at least could be minimized if there were just more feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ball doesn't like flomp away from you kind of in that satisfying way either. A lot of times, like half the time, it just sort of like okay and like rolls.
dribble.
Like,
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
impotent. No.
Yeah, it's not the most satisfying physics in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, another thing too is I wish you could play other people, like not just Lucio. Like I wish I could play
you can.
Reinhardt. Well. Oh, that's funny, Rachel. That's
You can, but I think
You
Kaplan
can.
might show up at your door and take your game away.
and you might get a 7.
An agreement. No.
Well, you get a 7-day ban for exploiting it right now.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
hilarious.
Kaplan got on the official forums and warned everyone, like, hey, we're aware of it. We're working on it. Also, hey, probably don't exploit it. We're warning you. I'm just like, it's a fun brawl. There's literally no award for playing brawl. Why?
Yeah, but at least I mean, it's true that it's just for fun and stuff. But at the same time, it's not the PTR either. So the fact that they are, treating it like a released game, just like they're in production type of game, and treating it just like the real game, and banning you for exploiting any bugs. I mean, I don't know. I kind of respect them for doing that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on the level of something like quick match or competitive. I don't think they necessarily need to start handing out bans for brawl exploits, but I'm not exploiting it, so it's not like I have a dog in this race. But
Well, it's one
Here's
thing.
is it hard to do? Can you like
Yeah, it was-
accidentally end up as another character?
No, it was pretty easy to do. Well, I don't know if you can accidentally. Maybe there are other ways to do it, but I think it's really easy just to switch characters. At least
so
it was.
if we preface this with the bookend of "Do not do this," Captain will slap you for 7 days.
There you go.
How do you do it?
How do you do it?
I'm not gonna build the bomb.
I've actually
I just
never
want to
done
know
it.
if I were
I've
gonna
actually
build
never
the bomb,
done it.
how I would
Actually,
do it.
they might have already fixed it, so I don't even think you can do it now. But at the time, I don't actually know exactly how people were doing it.
Yeah, I didn't look into it because I wasn't going to do it. But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, forget it. I don't know. It might have been really complicated, but I definitely encountered that when I was playing. So
Getting killed by McCree. Yeah, I definitely got killed by McCree one time.
like,
That was pretty.
yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, most of the heroes would kind of suck at this. I think the hero that was causing issues was Diva, because flying around is kind of awesome,
wow,
and
yeah.
also just makes me want to be like, hey, Kappa, maybe just add Diva because that sounds really fun.
yeah, Diva Ball sounds really cool.
Yeah, Diva Ball does sound cool. But overall, again, I think it is a success, from the standpoint of them making a different type of game with the engine. And I don't know, maybe this is the beginnings of an Overwatch arcade, or something of the sort.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. I would like to see more brawls that do more with the game, because all the brawls we've received up until the point of Lucio Ball, really you could kind of recreate it with just custom game rules.
Right.
This was the first thing. It's like, well, I can't do this unless the Overwatch team gives me this option. It was something that was special, and I feel, we talked about it's not the best game in the world, but I think it's the most interesting thing they've done with Brawl so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can get like a doubles tennis ping pong in with
Oh,
like Genji
yeah.
or something. Right?
Oh yeah.
Only if they
Yeah.
set it up like that ridiculous video we saw forever ago,
Symmetric.
where the net was two Mercies boosting each other.
Oh yeah. That was the jump rope thing, right?
Oh no! I saw it
Hopscotch?
where they were playing tennis or badminton with a bunch of Genjis.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and a
That's it,
Symmetra
that's-
ball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I think they also had mines from Junkrat or his grenades. They were bouncing his grenades around as well.
Yeah.
That's a little more high stakes than some hot potato.
Yeah, that's like a Mad Max badminton. But,
Next
but
bet.
I dig it. We also got special loot boxes with this. With a bunch of new items. I have not been supremely lucky. It's been mostly sprays and voice lines for me, so I haven't been ecstatic about it. But I really want that Genji skin, guys. I don't know about you.
You and everybody else. I
It's
think
so-
everybody's complaining about just the frequencies of them and things, mostly for that. I don't know. What's your favorite is Genji? Rach, what's your favorite skin?
That came out in the summer box.
Yeah, the summer box.
Ooh, I mean the Americree. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
just for pure collector's edition status.
I had
How
a-
do you play McCree?
Originally, it was Genji too, just because I just the white suit and the red sword. It's really cool. But then, after I think it was Kaplan or something or Jason that brought it up in the overview, and he was saying McCree looks badass. Then I took a closer look at McCree, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I want that dude. Even though I don't play McCree at all, I still want him, which is
Yeah.
weird.
My favorite thing on the McCree is the fact that his shirt underneath, if you look at it, is plaid. It's this.
Yes.
You,
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything else is so loud, and then underneath he just has this plaid shirt on, like he's ready to go to the barbecue, and
Like he's ready to go like work in the tech industry in San Francisco or something.
Oh, come on. Wow. Golly, Rach.
He's wearing a
Brutal.
for a plaid shirt, Chris.
Digging-
That was not a low blow.
Oh, plaid shirt. I
Digging
got a plaid
deep
shirt
for
on.
those-
That was
It's
pure
fine.
observation.
Oh.
yeah. And I also am a big fan of the Mercy. The
Yeah,
red
Mercy's
Mercy's
nice.
pretty great looking.
Although I went to her profile first to see what she would get from the summer games, and I didn't quite realize. I'm like, oh, nothing, and I moved on. And I was like, wait a minute. I went back and I was like, oh, that red one's new.
Yeah, I guess
It's
it
kind
does.
of a bit of a
It's not
whatever
super
color
different.
for how many
It's-
sports themes ones we got.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
fair.
not super different. Yeah.
It's a tad pedestrian. As much as like healing power armor could be pedestrian, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
I dig it. It's a little Iron Man. Needs a little more gold though, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of the skins either. I've gotten an emote in some of the sprays, but
You know what Chris didn't get either? Chris didn't get Summer Games icon.
I
and it's very
just
tragic.
started.
Someone out
Okay,
there, the extra one, can please
I've been-
donate to Chris. He's making our team look real bad.
I've been gone for 9-10 days. All right, jeez. So I just literally started playing last night, and then it was so funny because we were playing, and then with my loot boxes, I always let my youngest son open them. So I'm sitting there getting loot boxes, and now I have to sit here and wait for my youngest son to open them. So hopefully tonight I will have at least one other one, not just the.
You're a patient dad. I was like, why isn't he opening those loot boxes? I know he's getting them.
How dare you,
It was
Chris?
bugging me out.
Chris, how dare you be a good father?
Yeah, yeah.
How dare you respect a tradition you have set up with your son?
The price you pay, like as a gamer.
Yeah, jeez. So this is the first one of these we've had. And so there's been, I guess, data mined information that makes it look like we're going to be getting events for other holidays as well. Like we've seen some Halloween stuff, we've seen like Christmas style stuff, and this is very in line with what we've seen happen in other Blizzard games. So yeah, as lukewarm as I am on like, yeah, real sports, Olympic skins go, I really hope and cannot wait for something that's more Halloween themed in this vein.
We're gonna get that Mercy Witch costume in the photo.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm excited. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're right. There's totally photos of them having a Halloween party in
That's
that
right.
cinematic with Winston. Oh, you
That's
just
right.
blew my mind, Rachel. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
That's almost like
I've spent a lot of time in this game, Garrett.
it's almost for certain, right? They're gonna do that.
Oh, I really want Witch Mercy now. And I hope there's little pieces of candy in her healing stream. I don't know how that would heal you. It would make you sick, but I'm fine with that.
I want Santa Reinhardt, man. That's what I'm waiting for.
Santa Reinhardt.
Oh, you think they would do Santa Reinhardt or Santa Roadhog?
Ooh.
Oh, Santa
Like a
Reinhardt.
filthy Santa, like a bad
Ooh.
Santa.
Like a bad Santa. That's awesome. That would be interesting too.
What would you do with his pig face, though? Because that would just be nightmare fuel.
It's like a horror film. It's like a Christmas horror film.
Keep the mask on and just put a beard on over the gas mask.
Yeah, just a lot of beard and then a low hat.
Just gotta have the gut. I mean, that's the only part that matters, anyways. Big old belly button gut.
Don't cover up his gut.
Yeah.
The red robe is just partying around the gut.
Just a little wreath around the.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
no.
Oh, what if he had themed
No.
tattoos? Because he has all the tattoos. So instead of like the pig tattoo, it's like a wreath tattooed around his belly button.
You're saying no, but just somebody in chat, just someone remember this, and around Christmas, just call me if I'm right. Just remind me that you were here, that I was.
They're totally
right
listening.
together.
Oh,
man.
jeez, that would be fantastic. That'd be so good. But we also got a new patch that ushered in the summer games. There really wasn't anything of massive substance. It wasn't like we got a balance changes or anything. It mostly just brought in the summer games. But it did change for players who leave competitive match. Before it concludes, you'll now have to wait 10 minutes before joining another competitive match.
Yeah. That's good.
Yes,
I
yes,
like
it
that.
is. Yeah,
I like that.
More.
I wish it was even more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is still the case. I know in Heroes, I think it forces you to go play a quick match before it'll let you back into Hero League.
Yeah. That's a lot better.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you like competitive? Yeah, well, enjoy 6-stack Diva matches before you can come back.
That's right. That's right. No,
They
I think it should be.
They created their own hell and then they put you in it.
Exactly. And then also during subsequent rounds on assault maps, the amount of time provided for team assembly has been reduced. So you don't get to really build your base. I don't know. If you're Torbjorn, less time to polish your turret. So
Yeah. You still have plenty of time, though.
yeah, absolutely. It's plenty. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I forget how long those competitive games go, man. I did one today. It was an hour before the show, and I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time for a competitive match, and it took almost 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I have to rush and set up the stream. So
Yeah, those best of fives on Nepal can stretch.
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
they really can. So anything to rein in the time commitment, I am all for. So especially now that they've made enough changes, especially with the hero limit, that I'm much more incentivized to go and play competitive, because we've talked on previous episodes how a lot of us were like, we'll just play quick play because it's fine. But now that there's kind of an incentive to go play competitive, if the grind isn't enough for you, I'm glad they're working on reducing those game times. So
Every time I play quick play, there's a Hanzo on my team. So that's pretty much how it goes for me right now with quick play. And it kind of sucks. But not that there aren't any good Hanzo players out there. There are some. But for the most part, people are not good playing on.
It's like,
Go.
sorry, let me
It's
check
like
your
this
name real quick. Not Carnage or Surefoot. Sorry, no, you're gonna have to sue me.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, he took a bit of a hit with the hitbox changes, right? He's not just any amateur can pick him up and own with
Shoot
him.
around the corner and hit me in the face. No, they can't.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, well, before we move on, let's thank our patrons who are supporting the show over at patreon.com/Overwatchers. Huge thanks to our producer, LVE. And we also thank 8 of you each episode. So thank you to Ariel T, Toby H, Jeffrey W, Jonathan E, someone who literally named themselves first last. So thank you for making me giggle. Also, Grant J, Eric S, and MTG Cardsmith. Thank you all for supporting the show. We really do appreciate it. Now, the strategy highlight we wanted to give...
Actually, one thing we forgot, Garrett, was Season 1 competitive mode ending.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're
we should talk about
absolutely
that,
correct.
because-
Yes, it is coming too.
Yeah. That's actually, what's the date on that? Is it August 20th? Let me see. Let me bring it up here. So the first season of the competitive mode is ending here on, looks like August
22nd.
22nd. Yes.
No, wait. Oh, that's the event.
No,
and
that's the
loot
event
boxes. My
itself.
mistake.
That's the event itself. Where is it? I had it.
Overwatch
Like-
Season 1 end date, August 18th.
Oh, August 18th. Okay, so we got 8 more days for to get as high as you can, and they actually have the competitive point breakdown for just the points for buying golden guns and whatnot. Hopefully there'll be more too. So that's the most interesting part to take a look at. Let me bring it up. That link I have here, it actually isn't the best one.
This is what happens when we don't put things in the notes.
Yeah. Well, when we don't put the exact, here we go. All right, check this link out, guys. Should be the right one now. Yeah, so it lists out basically the level breakdowns or the rankings or the ratings that you have, the skill ratings that you have at the end of the season, and then it tells you how many competitive points you have. So if you're 65 and over, you get that 300, that magic number, right? That 300 competitive points, so you can guaranteed a golden gun. And then it goes down to 60 to 64, 200, 56 to 59, 120, and then so on and so on. So, folks that are 90 right now, they don't necessarily get any more than the guy that gets 65. So that's kind of interesting. I just figured it would just continually go up, and somebody like the number 1 rated person in the world would potentially get more than 1 golden gun on this first season, but apparently not. They just want to limit them as much as possible.
Well, is that the bell curve there? Are we able to extrapolate kind of where everyone falls based on what they're rewarding?
That's kind of where I can only imagine that there's a very small percentage of the player base above 65. That seems like the obvious thing to infer, right?
Well, maybe our friend groups are a little skewed because we have a lot of pro players, but like I have friends, floating around in the 70s, upper 70s now. So I mean, I guess that represents the top of the top, kind of maybe some 80, 90 in there.
Yeah, because I am not friends with any of the pro players. Like I know you two are. All of my friends on my Overwatch friends list are just kind of average players like me, and we're all floating around, 40 to mid 50s.
Yeah, I mean that's where the majority of my friends that are not pros are too. So I would guess that would be near the top of the bell, or in that range, in the 40s. I bet it's like high 40s, mid 40s that are probably the top of the bell, and then it kind of comes down from there. But yeah, top 65. I don't know if it's 3%. What do you guys think? Top 3%? It's not top 500, obviously, but it's somewhere in there, I bet.
My statistics class in college is flashed for me, and I'm just like, no answer, Chris.
Yeah,
it goes up and then comes back down.
Oh, God.
it's all. I mean, it's all guesswork at this point. Do you think we'll get a postmortem on season 1 directly from the Overwatch team telling us where? Because we got that pretty early on in Hearthstone's life when they changed up the ranks and everything, and they're like, oh well, a huge amount of people fall above X rank. Do you think we'll see them give us that information for Overwatch?
Yeah, actually, it straight up tells you right at the end of the season. You're like, oh, you're you finished at rank 5. You're in the top 2% of players, and you're like, really?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I think you can actually just do the math too, right? Like you can go to one of those sites, that has actually, you can just go to the Play Overwatch site. They actually have the statistics. That's where all the other sites pull from, I believe. And you can just see what your ranking is in total, right, in competitive mode. And then I think the total number of players is there too, and you can kind of figure out where you are. So if you want to decipher it, I think you can. But them giving the information, they probably will. But what's going to happen is they give the information, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're just going to give the average guy 40 like competitive points? Oh, you guys suck! Like you guys want me to play forever before I get like a golden gun, So that's all you're going to get.
I mean, you're not going to be able to make anyone happy because then there's going to be the diehards who are like, "Oh, you're giving them too many points. They should be getting." But looking at it, from 0 to 39, then up to what they give to 65 plus, it's a pretty big spread. I think it's fine. Looks okay to me. I'm just interested to know where the percentage of the player base falls.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that there's more stuff in the future to buy, except for the golden guns, because the golden gun is cool and all, but I don't know. It's just like after seeing the first one,
it's not bling enough for me.
Yeah, after seeing the first one, I'd be like, okay, I'm kind of done with that. The animated spray is cool though, that you get for top 500. So the top 500 rated or ranking players at the end of the season get that extra animated spray. But I think it's actually not just 500 players. It's if you reach top 500 at any point, you'll get to receive that. So if you max out at whatever your max ranking is, if it's top 500, you get it.
Well, that's good because that would be really, really stressful. It's like, am I still in the top 500? Do I have to play today? Am I safe?
It's Hearthstone,
it's Hearthstone all over again. Day 31
of every single month.
Exactly. So
well, and top 500 is one of those hidden MMR things too, right? Like some people were saying, like, "Oh, I'm 79 and I got top 500." My friend who's like 82 didn't. So I don't even know where you see that.
Oh, really? Is it an elo? Like, it's a hidden thing? I thought it was just like your overall public ranking, which doesn't necessarily get refreshed immediately on these various sites. But I thought it was that ranking.
It might be just more people that are frustrated without, accessing those secondary lists and stuff.
Yeah. They should just have it just public. I mean, at this point...
I mean, it should be in the game.
Yeah, it should just be like right there in real time, like because everybody cares about it so much that's in competitive already.
Or even like, don't show me numbers, just like a little bar with like maybe another bar and like whether it goes up or not. I don't know.
Or it could just be in your career profile.
Not a UI designer.
You don't have to like see it after every single match. Like shit, man, I'm like 50,123 now. It's like, okay, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, maybe find some cutoff point where you start showing that information because otherwise it's like, oh wow, I just feel terrible. I'm a terrible player at this game, which I'm sure I've fallen into. But
you're like 9 millionth in line, eh?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I'm going to be getting one or not. Maybe if we continue an 8-day winning streak, Rach, we can maybe get to that 60th match.
Hey, we were moving up pretty fast last night. Yeah, we have to try again tonight.
Exactly. So maybe I can get to that 200 mark, and then next season get it. But this season, it'll be a feat to get it this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm bad at this game, so I'm not too worried about it. But all right, cool. Well, we threw a link to that in the show notes. So if you're out there listening on the download and you haven't seen this, go check it out. We got a link to the whole thing, breaking down the points and whatnot for Season 1 rewards. So enjoy that. Let's get into some of the community spotlights this week. The thing we wanted to show you guys for strategy is Lord Quinzulin, a YouTuber I was not familiar with until I found this on the Overwatch subreddit. He's been putting out pretty awesome Overwatch guides, and the one that really schooled me was his turret guides for Torbjorn on where to place them, because he has upped my Route 66 defense game as Torbjorn something fierce.
Yeah, I remember his first one on Anubis that maybe we talked about on the show too, was really, really good too. And I actually took note of a few of those spots, and they've been actually really good. So I'm excited to check this one out too and figure out the optimal spots to put it on Route 66. Because that's a really good map to use Torbjorn on. Yeah,
I was practicing it yesterday, and then this morning that game I tried to get it, or I did get in right before the show. Just happened to be on Route 66, so I can attest this works. Just follow this guide and you'll own. It's pretty. So gross.
This is purely a defensive guide. This is not for offensive Torbjorn as well.
Correct. It's just defensive.
Yeah, we know Torch needs to make an offensive Torbjorn guide, Rage. So.
Yeah, I'll push him to that. We were playing last night, and like, my partner kept picking Torbjorn, and we'd all be like, "Oh, come on!" And then he'd get play of the game, and we'd be like, "Oh, come on!"
All night long.
That happened to me. That happened to me
All
yesterday.
night long,
I'm-
he was owning with Torb. It
I
was crazy.
solo queued into a competitive game last night, and we started on defense. So I was like, cool, get to test my Torbjorn after watching Quinzulin's video, and it worked well. But then we went on attack, and someone else on our team picks Torbjorn, and the whole chat screen just lights up, all caps, like rabble, 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 stop it! What are you doing? Don't play Torbjorn on attack. And he jumped on the payload. He built it. I was Reinhardt, so I was like, I'm going to try and make it work, guys. I jumped on the front, shielded it. We just walked all the way to the end and just crushed. It was
That's
awesome.
right.
That's a beautiful story of teamwork and accepting the differences and poor choices of others, and still being able to pull out the dubs.
Yep.
The doves.
Pull out the doves. Wow. I think you may have just named this episode, Rachel. Well
That
played.
one's for you, Garrett.
But yeah, maybe learn from that, because I definitely was getting salty. I didn't type. I promised myself I'm not gonna engage in the salt publicly anymore. But I definitely was sitting there being like, oh, why are you doing this, dude? Why?
That's exactly what Rachel was until he was just completely owning with offensive Torb.
Well, it was on like Hanamura, and he's like, one push, and we're like, fine, one push, and then we won on the single push, and we were like, all right, fine.
And then it was actually enlightening, amazing.
If
So,
everyone's
I mean, there's so much left in this game to explore competitively and in these quick play matches where you can, still stack. So I hope people are still having fun with it and nobody's getting too caught up in the idea of, what is correct just yet.
Yeah, exactly. What meta is, right? Especially when you're looking at the pro scene and then you're trying to, reenact that in the casual levels. It's not the same, guys. There's definitely more compositions that work and are potentially better in the lower ranks than what we see at the pro level.
I absolutely agree. Like I was saying it kind of as a joke, but like if you try to bring too much of your esports knowledge to your solo queue pickup game, it's just not going to work. You can learn all you want from those games, but those are 6 people all being able to talk to each other, and they know how to coordinate and they know how each other play. It's not going to happen if you're alone, not talking to anyone. So let that guy build that turret and defend it.
That's right. That's right.
Just commit. Committing to a bad plan is better than not committing at all.
That's true. That's true.
So, Chris, you wanted to bring up more Sombra decoding attempts.
Yes. So that's been a huge topic in the subreddit. I mean, I got back like a couple days ago, and I've just been looking at Reddit, just kind of catching up on Reddit, and the whole Sombra ARGs are out there. Just all these different attempts to figure out some more clues for Sombra have been out there, and people are just scouring everything. So there's been things from looking at every single Spanish phrase on Dorado and trying to see if there's any kind of patterns there, to something I thought was really interesting was checking out potentially what Winston's password is. That's the latest one that I linked here in the notes. People have been looking at the little lexigram that's in one of the, I believe, the pictures, or actually a combination of being in the pictures and in some of the shorts. There's a lexigram framed, I think, in the background of some of these, and it has little symbols and things like that. And so people have been like trying to put together these symbols and then like what keys like Winston's typed on the computer, because the actual passwords it's the lexigram password. And so they're trying to figure out what that is, and possibly how, if that leads to something with Sombra. But now people are going even further and thinking that maybe this is like some kind of password to Athena. And so people are like going crazy with this. And some of the keystrokes have been figured out. At least folks are have, I think, made guesses at what the keystrokes are in this one particular Reddit thread that I linked here. So it's going beyond, guys. I'm not even sure if Blizzard's trying some of these things, but if they are, holy crap, right?
Yeah,
this is beyond just like a little bit of barcoding at the end of a just an Ana video. This is something like they've been planning for a while.
Right.
If this is the case,
That's the thing, though. That's why I'm like, are we just going? Are we finding things where there isn't anything to find? Because the barcode was an obvious thing. It's like it was significantly more obvious that it was something that they wanted us to figure out. But now we're
Sombra is the Overwatch missing no.
yes,
that's
exactly.
right. That's exactly right. So yeah, it's cool. It's just cool to see. I mean, it's one of these community things, like everybody working together. There's obviously IRC chats that are going on that people are trying to crack something. It's going to be sad when Sombra actually does come out because a lot of these things will stop. But until then, we can enjoy all these I don't know, crazy decoders and hackers and whatnot trying to figure it out.
I think, did you see they posted on the Blizzard website in the screenshots folder this like messed up screenshot of Dorado? I think that was the most recent
No, I didn't see that.
I did not see that.
I linked in the doc if you want to take a look at it. It just looks very strange. It looks like one of those ninjas with the green eyes, night vision shots.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Oh, this was on their blog or Facebook?
You guys dropped it right in there.
Came off.
So that was, I think, uploaded in the screenshot section of like their like Overwatch press kits or something. I don't even know if it's still there, but just another clue for any of you hunters out there if anyone's trying.
That looks intentional.
Yeah, it looks very intentional. It might be those little blur bars too. Those blur bars look like they're in some kind of pattern.
Yeah, like you can scan that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
interesting.
Keep an eye out for that, folks. I like that. Well, while to wrap up our little community highlight here, we have an email from a listener. You can send your emails to mailoverwatchers@gmail.com. Dr. Shock wrote in and wanted some advice. He said, "Hey, Watchers, I have a couple of friends that are curious about Overwatch, but they are hesitant to slap down the $60 for an Xbox game. Oh, you don't play on PC? Oh, my God, Sean. Just joking. Is there any way to introduce them to the game apart from sitting them down in my own house to play my Xbox while I watch? I would love a demo of some sort, maybe with limited heroes against AI or something. Love the show. Raising a beer to your continued success."
That's cool. Yeah.
Get out of the way while I get a little old man get off my lawn real quick. This is how we used to have to get our friends in the games, guys. You used to have to invite them over and sit them down and just let them play it. Let them play your Xbox, man. But
he's like, all right, so this is the controller I'm going to use to play. And so I'm going to sit right here. Are you watching? I have a Twitch channel, but come on over. And like, you can watch anybody play. You don't even have to, if you're just trying to sell it on the gameplay, which is enough of a selling point, yeah, just turn on Twitch. But I think, oh, God, like, you got to have that experience, if that's not enough to sell somebody, where you can all play together. Because really, like, at BlizzCon, there's a couple times where you got to sit down in a row of 6. Yeah. Like, those were the most hype moments where, you really get to see all your friends shine at all the things they're best at. And that was the most exciting selling point to Overwatch for me.
Yeah. I mean, the reality of it is right now, they don't have to do it because people are they're buying the game and whatnot. Maybe down the road, there will be some way, or there will be some free version of it, some, I don't know, limited version of it where there's only like maybe 1 or 2 heroes, and maybe it's a brawl. Who knows? Like maybe brawl's just free. But for now, yeah, you'll probably have to wait. You'll have to, like they said, old school show folks, sell them on YouTube videos and just show them everything that's out there that's Overwatch. I'm sure they'll be convinced.
Yeah, absolutely, man. When I was I don't know about you guys, but I know when I was in the beta, every time a friend would come over, that's what they wanted to do. Like, hey, can I log onto your account and try out Overwatch? And I'm like, of course you can. Please come into the office, take a look. And every one of those friends of mine that tried that game, they now own it. So,
yep,
just let them try it, man.
Yeah,
have fun.
It is the best selling point. They're the best way to sell it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's going on in the world of esports, Chris?
All right, esports. Tons of stuff going on in esports, and actually, Rachel's probably going to be at one of these events. Lucky her. So first off, there's a bunch of team news going on. Some big team news, which I'll probably talk about here. NRG, which is Seagull's team, or actually MixUp, which is Seagull's team, which was once with Luminosity or recently with Luminosity, has left Luminosity and joined NRG, which is, of course, Shaq's team. We talked about Shaq's tweet, I think, on the last show, and those tweets always mean something, guys. They're not random, all right? At this day and age in social media, those things are not random. So it wasn't like Shaq was just, oh, I just found Siegel's stream one day and like, oh, I like this guy. This guy's got a lot of viewers. Let's try to get him on my team. No. There's definitely a lot more going on behind the scenes than that. So now officially Siegel and crew are now on NRG. So congrats to them for figuring that out, because I know there was a lot of craziness going on behind the scene there. And then big news: TSM drops Code 7 after picking them up like 10 days ago,
which we also talked about on the last episode, and we've received a lot of tweets and emails from people who took issue with our stance of it's their prerogative, was basically what we landed on. There were a lot of people who were like, no, Overwatchers, you are wrong, they are cheaters, shun them forever from everything.
Right, and just for folks that are maybe listening to this episode and catch the last one, what we're talking about is Code 7 has a couple players, Nicholas and Torque, that TJO brothers, if you're following it, that have been caught cheating, not in a competitive environment in other games, but have been caught cheating in pickup games and things like that in another game. And the community hasn't, at least part of the community, has been very hard on them. They're once a cheater, always a cheater type of thing. And so when TSM picked them up, TSM being such a huge esport brand, then there was just, lots of controversy around that. Why would TSM pick up, these two cheaters and things like that? And apparently, this type of pressure, this type of reaction from the community, I think had influenced this action here where TSM drops Code 7. But thankfully, they didn't just drop Code 7. They worked out a transfer to Complexity, which is another very notable esports brand and team. So it's not like they're being dropped in some, I don't know, B team, or just some very small team brand is picking them up. No, another big team is picking them up. So they obviously believe in this team too. And TSM actually gave the other players the choice of just dropping those two guys and staying with TSM, and they decided to stick with those guys. So I think that says a lot too. Like when the four other guys, are basically risking their careers, just their playing careers for, with these two guys, that probably speaks to some extent whether they're cheating or not. So, I'm kind of glad that they ended up in a good place. But at the same time, I hope the community, takes a look at this too, that, a lot of negativity, or at least a lot of speculations, accusations, without proven or just with proof in this game, Overwatch, can really affect people's careers and, playing careers and even just teams, just even the entire six-man career. So this has been kind of interesting, but at least it's worked out now. And Complexity, obviously, with Jason, the two Jasons are a great team. So I'm kind of happy for them.
Where do you fall on this, Rachel? Do you think once a cheater, always a cheater?
I mean, I like to think, if there's ever an opportunity for a cheater to reform, it's when you switch games. I totally believe in long-term bans. I don't know about lifetime, but, definitely long-term bans from games for stuff like that. And, but if they're willing to come into a new game and play better and exhibit learning and maybe even, speak out against it or something, I just think Overwatch is such a great opportunity for positivity and for upright play and upright personalities. And, I want to make room for everybody. So, yeah, if they're willing to come in and play along by our nice rules and say, yeah, no more cheating. I realized I was dumb. I'm here to, give it my all. 1,000%. Yes, please come and welcome back. But, I would just never want to have any sort of cheating scandals in our scene. I mean, we already saw the community get riled up about some of the Cloud9 players. Sorry, guys, we're just that good. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's
Blizzard is doing a really good job, I think, banning out a lot of the cheaters and getting them dealt with. So,
yeah, and actually, what are your thoughts on that, Garrett? Just in general, like TSM dropping Code 7 and transferring over to another big brand.
I mean, it just, to me, as far as the community is concerned, it doesn't put to bed this whole conversation, because these players are still in the Overwatch mix. They're going to another big franchise, so I think there's still going to be heated debate within the community. Me personally, I mean, I talked a lot about it on the last episode, but I'm not going to actively root for these people because of their past. It's not, like I said, for me, I like to think of it from the spectator's point of view. And it's like, I'm not telling folks that they need to go out and root for these players. I'm not. I'm because of their past. They're kind of the villain for me. But I don't think that they should be, since they have not been proven to cheat in this particular game, like Rachel said. I don't think that they should be blacklisted.
Mm-hmm.
So, and did you
in the Olympics? Some of the doping athletes are back and competing again.
The Russians, were totally. That's been the big thing in swimming, right? Like with the Olympics, is that the Russians were caught and they were penalized actually heavily. Yet some of their current swimmers, who I'm not sure about the specifics as to how the testing went with their current.
Oh no,
swimmers,
USA beat them.
Yeah, I mean, USA beat them anyways, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that they were allowed. Actually, one of the females won, I think, a gold, and there's been a lot of controversy recently about that. But yeah, even in the Olympics, I mean, there's been a lot of, quote unquote, cheating going on there, and it's unfortunately gotten through, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like cheaters at all. Like I said, I'm not going to root for these players, but I like to err on the side of giving people a second chance. And if I could bring in an example from Hearthstone, I mean, look at Reynad. The guy who was accused of cheating in Magic the Gathering. A lot of people think he is a cheater. If you hear his side of the story, it's not quite so black and white.
Right.
What if we had never allowed Reynad into Hearthstone? Whether you like the guy or not, because he is a divisive personality, Hearthstone is better because of his involvement in the scene.
I mean, he's a team owner.
Right.
that's beyond, just being, part of the scene. I mean,
but he's not just a team owner, though. I mean,
it's not just the team. It's also the excellent website.
Yeah.
It's a big website. Right. He's a player. Right. He's a caster. I mean, because that's the other side of this pendulum. Like the people who are on the complete opposite side from what we're talking about, which I think is a little more, more level-headed. I don't know. Maybe you guys think we're a little extreme, but the other side of this is like blacklist them from everything. It's like, what? They can't run a team. Can they not cast? Can they not show up to events? Like, how far does this go? So I think they should be given a second chance. And if they do misstep, if they do get caught cheating again, absolutely permanently ban them from the scene.
Yeah.
But I think they should be given a second chance.
What's interesting is that TSM, the only thing this last point or maybe discussion point is that, TSM, there was some question as to like how much they knew, before they decided to pick up the team. And just how much due diligence they did, because this isn't a small team. This is one of the biggest and most loved esports team brands that we have right now. Most valuable too. I mean, that's the team's huge. So the fact that whether Reggie knew or not, and just everything, and I think what came out was basically they did know about their past. They just didn't know it was the official statement. They didn't know that it happened in multiple games. So maybe they knew about one game but not multiple games, and that's kind of the reasoning that they're giving. But it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like TSM, you would think would do crazy amounts of due diligence before they make a decision like this, right? Because this is obviously controversial, and obviously TSM has done things that were semi-controversial in the past. But just getting into Overwatch, picking up your first team, I think was pretty risky, right? Just pulling on those guys unless you just knew everything, and he obviously talked to the guys, but just having everything, knew how your sponsors felt about everything too, before making a move like that. So I don't know what your thoughts on that, Rach.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that moment where I'm like, is that the real reason? Like, is this like a convenient way to make room for like a sexier roster that you've had your eye on, a younger roster or something? But I can totally see how this should just be the case where you just find out like, this team that I was all ready to pour all this money into, my investment could be compromised by these prior facts, and so I'm just going to stop the money flow right now. And they have every right to do that. That's part of managing a brand, and that's a really tough decision because these are 6 humans on this team.
Yeah.
But I I kind of like it. I do like the message that like, hey, we do have our eye on the integrity of our players. We're not going to ruin anybody. We're not going to blacklist anybody, but we are going to, mete out punishments and benefits based on that. So
yeah. Well, speaking of, I guess trying to clear all these accusations up. There is a big event that's coming up at Gamescom. It's the ESL Atlantic Showdown. It's been going on. The qualifiers have been going on for ages now. It seems like for weeks and weeks now. But it's finally coming into the final 8 teams, and it's going to be set for Gamescom. And the ESL folks, Jason Kaplan particularly, said that he kind of laid out exactly what they're planning on from the standpoint of checking equipment, taking cell phones away from the players, just every bit of anything that they could possibly do that they can think of, where somebody could, upload something onto the computers, they are removing. So I think this event should be the most tight event in terms of, possibly hacking or cheating or whatnot, anything like that. So we'll see how everybody performs here, and hopefully it'll clear up some of it. It probably won't completely, but hopefully that will help. But this ESL Atlantic Showdown, this is the one for $100,000. Biggest one to date. I mean, there are other ones that are coming up that have a bigger prize pool, but this will be, at least when it finishes, the biggest one to date. And Rach, you're going to Gamescom, right? Oh, muted.
You're muted.
I'm going to Gamescom.
Yeah, man. You're lucky. So lucky.
I'm so excited, dude. I have so much faith in the Overwatch community. I'm so excited for what it could become. I mean, people are getting cooler and cooler every year. So many big personalities. It gets more diverse, and I'm just hoping I get to Gamescom and there's 1,000 teams that want to play Overwatch, and they're all really awesome, and they're there to meet the pros, and the scene's gonna explode. I got dreams.
It'll be cool to see how many people are packed into the Gamescom is just a huge, obviously, conference or their travel show and that sort of thing. So the Overwatch booth isn't like a stadium or anything. It's like an actual booth at one of these shows. So it'll be interesting to see how many people actually pack in there just to watch these top teams. Just a LAN. This is like the biggest LAN we've had in months now, or this will be the biggest LAN that we have probably. So
yeah, the prize pool is huge. I think 300,000 total, and
yeah, exactly. So I can't wait to see it. And the ESL guys obviously been working hard for a while to get this. And it's the top 8 teams. It's let me bring it up. It's kind of interesting. They have 2 groups. It's going to be double elimination in each group. And
are they divided up by EU NA still?
No. They put 2 EUs and 2 NAs in each group, and then they're battling each other in the first round. So all 4 first round matches are NA versus EU. So that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to get to see like which teams are the best, at least which region is the best potentially. And Team NBS, obviously, best team in the world right now. They're in probably the easier group. I mean, I guess arguably the easier group. And then Group B is just like group of death with Complexity, Cloud9, Rogue, Unite. I have the link there, so you guys can check that out. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be August 20th at Gamescom. You can check that out. And then one real quick bit that I didn't have, actually, I'll add this on the notes too. The Overwatch Open is continuing on too, and that's officially the biggest event for 300K.
Yeah.
And that's going to end in October, but the qualifiers are happening, just week to week. So definitely check that out. You can go to the site at overwatchopen.com and then check out just the current results right now for that. But that's it for esports.
And that will do it for the show. That brings us to the end of the show, as a matter of fact. So thanks again to our patrons over at patreon.com/Overwatchers. Also to our producer, LVE. Follow the show on Twitter at OverwatchCast. Don't forget to email us at mailoverwatchers@gmail.com. And subscribe to us on iTunes or over at youtube.com/ShadeMoveTV. Rachel, you're our guest. Where can folks follow you?
Well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Seltzer, please. You can watch me on Twitch at /Seltzer, and I'm on Instagram too with Seltzer, please. Like Chris said, that I'm going to be going to Gamescom and a couple other events. I'm always traveling around for esports. I'm always trying to put up pictures and fun stuff, and you should give me a follow.
She's been on TV recently too, She's been doing E-League and TV, so yes.
Yeah, that's all wrapped. That was amazing. Virtus Pro is our E-League Season 1 champion. Yeah. But what a cool thing to do esports on TV. I'm really excited for the future.
I'm pretty stoked about it as well. I'm surprised how much I like being able to turn on esports on my television in an old-fashioned way. Because years ago when we were talking about could esports ever come to TV back when we were covering StarCraft, I was like, man, I don't care. It's fine just the way it is. I can pull it up on my computer. It's no big deal, but I still have a cable subscription, so it's kind of nice to just be like, yeah, let's just flip it over to TBS. Oh, look, esports. So I
That's
like it.
right.
It's a better world with esports on TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Exactly.
Chris, where can folks find you?
You can find me at basically everything that ends in Chanman V. So YouTube.com ChanmanV, Twitter.com ChanmanV. And then obviously my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/ChanmanV. And if you like Hearthstone, I'm going to be doing my Hearthstone podcast, live show, Value Town, a little bit later today, 4 p.m. Eastern with Raynad, Noxus, and Firebat. So if you want to talk more about One Night in Karazhan cards and maybe some more priest salt, then definitely check that out today.
There is enough priest salt. All of the snails in the vicinity of Hearthstone are dead.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Yeah, I think
Seriously.
that's enough of that. Well, folks, you can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. You can find all of the other podcasts that I do over at amove.tv. Go check that out. Thanks for listening, and until next time, good luck and have fun.